You've heard these terms everywhere, right? AI, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. It feels like they're thrown around constantly, but what do they actually mean? And how do they all fit together? Well, if you're a little confused, you are definitely not alone.
So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to demystify all of it. As you can see, these concepts are kind of like Russian nesting dolls, one inside the other. We're going to break down every single layer, from the biggest, broadest ideas all the way down to the cutting-edge tech that is literally changing our world as we speak.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by talking about the jargon problem itself, then we'll unpack each layer, one by one. AI, ML, DL, and of course, Gen AI. And then we'll wrap it all up with a really simple but powerful analogy that I promise will make it all just click.
Let's start right here because, honestly, it's a real issue. I mean, even people who work in tech use these terms almost interchangeably, and that just creates this fog of confusion for everyone else. But knowing the difference is the key to really getting how incredible tools like ChatGPT actually work.
All right, let's dive in. We're starting at the very top, with the biggest category of them all, artificial intelligence. Just think of this as the entire universe we're about to explore.
You know, at its heart, AI is really this huge, ambitious idea that started everything. It's simply about the goal of making machines mimic human intelligence, letting them think and reason and make decisions just like we do.
And you use it all the time, probably without even thinking about it. When you ask Siri for the weather, well, that's AI understanding your voice. When a chess program on your computer can outsmart a grandmaster, that's AI planning ahead. Even something as simple as Google Maps finding you the quickest way home, yep, that's AI in action.
So here's the key thing to remember. AI is the overall objective. It doesn't really matter how the machine is acting smart, whether it's just following a bunch of rules someone wrote for it or learning all on its own. If it's acting smart, it falls under this giant umbrella of AI.
Now let's zoom in one level. Inside that giant AI umbrella, we find machine learning. And this isn't the goal anymore. This is a specific way to get there.
And this is where things get really, really interesting. See, instead of a programmer sitting down and writing thousands of if this, then that rules, with machine learning, you just give the machine a ton of data, a ton of examples, and you let it figure out the patterns and the rules for itself. It actually learns from the data.
Ever wonder how Netflix just knows that you're going to love that weird documentary? That's machine learning. It's looked at what you and millions of other people have watched to spot patterns. It's the same thing with your spam filter. It didn't come with a dictionary of spam words. It learned what junk mail looks like because it's seen millions of examples.
And that just hits the nail on the head, right? AI is the goal of being smart. ML is a method to get there by learning from experience, not by just following a super rigid instruction manual.
Okay, you ready? We're going even deeper now. Inside this whole world of machine learning, there's this incredibly powerful and frankly revolutionary approach called deep learning.
The magic words here are neural networks. Deep learning uses a structure that's actually inspired by the way neurons are connected in our own brains. It has many, many layers of these networks. That's the deep part. And these layers allow it to learn incredibly complicated patterns all on its own, without a human having to tell it what to look for.
This is the powerhouse behind some of the most magical features we use every day. You know, the reason your phone can recognize your face from almost any angle? Deep learning. The way Alexa or Google Assistant understands what you're saying pretty much instantly? Yep, deep learning. It is some seriously powerful stuff.
So a good way to think of it is like machine learning on steroids. It's just a more advanced, a more automated way of learning from absolutely massive amounts of data, all thanks to that brain-inspired structure.
And that brings us to the very center of it all, the one that everybody is talking about right now, generative AI. This is a very special type of deep learning that is absolutely taking the world by storm. Okay, this is the mind-blowing part. Every other type we've talked about so far was about understanding things, or classifying them, or maybe predicting something based on data that already exists. Generative AI is different. It doesn't just analyze, it creates. It makes something brand new, something that didn't exist before.
And you know these names. We're talking about ChatGPT writing an email or a poem for you. We're talking about Midjourney or DALL-E creating a stunning piece of art from just a few words. Or GitHub Copilot suggesting the next 3 lines of your code before you've even finished typing. This isn't just analysis. This is creation.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. This is that moment in the hierarchy where the machine stops being just a student of our world and starts becoming a co-creator within it. It's a huge deal.
Whew. Okay, so we've gone through all the different layers. Now let's just lock all this in with a super simple analogy that I think connects everything perfectly.
Just think about teaching a child, okay? So AI, that's the big goal. You just want to teach them to be smart. Now, machine learning, that's like showing them flashcards. They learn to recognize a cat because you've shown them lots of pictures of cats. Deep learning is like total immersion. After seeing millions of pictures and videos online, they develop this deep, intuitive feel for what a cat is. And then, generative AI? That's the moment the child picks up crayons and starts drawing their own pictures of cats and making up their own wild stories about them.
So if this has got you excited and you're thinking, okay, where do I go from here? This is a pretty good roadmap. Start with the basics of AI, then move on to the fundamentals of machine learning. Try to get a feel for how those neural networks and deep learning work. And then, and this is the most important part, just get your hands dirty. Go play with the generative AI tools that are out there.
Let's just boil it all down one last time, nice and simple. AI helps machines think, machine learning helps them learn, deep learning helps them understand, and generative AI helps them create. From thinking to learning to understanding to creating. That's the whole journey right there.
Look, this isn't just some abstract tech talk. Understanding this evolution helps you see exactly where technology is going. This newfound creative power is reshaping entire industries, art, communication, everything, right now. So the only question left is, now that you get it, how are you going to be a part of it?